Top of the morning, Niner gang. Hope everybody's doing good today, man. Let's give a big warm welcome to my guest Ryan G. Hensley, and thank you for coming to the show, bro. If you guys don't know who he is, you guys should already know. He's an entrepreneur. He does his own show, and he also does shows with Grant Cohn. You guys know Grant Cohn, so you guys go check him out at his channel, Ryan G. Hensley Show. You guys make sure you go subscribe over there. I got to turn off my notifications. I always forget to do that.
I do that same thing. Yep.
God, every time, man. Never fails. But
Right.
yeah, man, you guys make sure you guys go like his stuff, go subscribe. Make sure you guys go watch him whenever you get the chance. He has an early morning show typically every day. So if you're not already subscribed, do it. And
Appreciate
of course, my channel too. That'd be nice, guys.
it. All right.
And then if you guys have any comments or questions for us, throw four flames in the comments so we know it's specifically for us. That way we don't get caught in the banter within the chat section. But Ryan, how you doing, bro? I know I've been watching your show throughout the week. So how are things going right now over there?
Everything's good, man. I'm approaching. I set a goal this for 2022. I've been doing my morning show every morning, Monday through Friday, like 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. For about 2 months now, and I set my goal to get 2,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Today's the last day. I'm at 1952, so I need like
Yeah.
48. So we'll see. We'll see what happens, but hopefully we can get there. But yeah, everything's going good, man.
Yeah, I wrote that down too. I forgot to say it. Let's get Ryan to 2,000 subscribers, guys. He's
Okay.
just a few away. You said what, 52?
I
So
need 48 more.
48 more. So
Yeah.
yeah, let's get him to 2,000 subscribers by the new year, which is tomorrow. So we gotta get
Yeah.
it done by midnight, guys.
I
And
appreciate it.
yeah, hell yeah. So yeah, man, there's a lot of questions being asked about the defense. They're I think they're in big question right now. They let the Commanders complete a lot of nice passes, convert third downs and stuff like that. I think it's being blown out of proportion a little bit because I've been seeing it happen all season, and really ever since Robert Sala's been here as well. That was a big thing with him, being conservative on third downs and allowing other teams to convert like pretty often. Can I get your thoughts on the defense and what you whether you think they should clean things up or just your overall feeling?
Yeah. I think what's going on here is the defensive back unit is they're used to having that pass rush, that effective pass rush. So as long as
Yeah.
that continues, I think they're going to be fine. It's really if for some reason they're able to slow Nick Bosa down, that's where you're going to see issues. What's happening is the pass rush has been so effective all year, particularly Nick Bosa. The defensive back units, they know they can jump on the short pass. And as long as that continues, as long as the pass rush is there, or if they face a quarterback that can buy themselves time, or an offensive line or an offensive scheme that's able to protect the quarterback a little longer, I can see it possibly creating problems for
Mhm.
them in the future. If it continues, and going into the playoffs, you're going to face a lot of really good teams. It wasn't much of
Yeah.
a problem, versus Washington, but you did see some open routes for Tom Brady. He just wasn't able to capitalize. You saw it in Miami, but Tua just looked shook. You saw it against the Chiefs, but that was an injured defense, so I give them a little, leeway there. But yeah, man, it's probably the biggest concern for me, that, and Brock Purdy's just inexperienced in the playoff situations, even though he's doing a really good job.
Yeah.
Those are probably the two biggest concerns for me headed in the playoffs. But I'm also just kind of creating concerns. I'm nitpicking. Overall, it's amazing defense, and we have really good players. So, but if we're looking for a weakness, that's what I would say.
Yeah, Javon Kinlaw's coming back, so that's nice. Hopefully that helps out. Hopefully he can stay healthy. Um, I know Grant asked D'Amico Ryans, and this is something I've been calling for a long time. And I know it's harder now that Mosley's out, but I want more man press to help that D line have more time to get to the quarterback. And I like that you brought up the playoffs, man, because we're gonna see mobile quarterbacks in the playoffs, and if we get to the Super Bowl, which we'll get into the Super Bowl later, um, but we're going to be facing quarterbacks that are going to be able to create off script plays. So we really have to get that down pat. And I thought if we could have gotten Trey Lance back as soon as possible to help at least the scout team and help him get reps, he can help to develop that off script stuff with the defense so they can be better acclimated to it. But yeah, man, hopefully Javon Kinlaw steps up and stays healthy. One guy that wasn't active last week, which really surprised me, was Drake Jackson, because I feel like we should get him reps. I think he could be another difference maker opposite of Nick Bosa on the line. Really big edge threat, I think. Great wingspan, really good at batting down passes, really good at keeping quarterbacks contained and catching them from behind. He has that speed and quickness, which is awesome. I think it's badass when you catch a guy like Marcus Mariota from behind and he's in a full-on sprint and you're like 300 pounds.
Yeah.
So hopefully we get to see Drake Jackson. I think it would be a great opportunity to get him reps against the Raiders and the Cardinals before the playoffs. I want to see Drake Jackson. I mean, Josh Johnson too, man. But you're right with Brock Purdy. He doesn't have a whole lot of. I mean, he doesn't have any experience in the playoffs, but he has played championship games in college. So hopefully that helped him get ready for that. Another topic that we have is let me see if we have any questions or comments real quick. But do you think that the Raiders can compete without Carr? As of right now, the Raiders with Carr are ranked 14th in the league in offense. Do you think they can compete?
I don't think they compete with Carr against this team, to be honest with you. So, no, I'm not really worried about them. I mean, you never know what can happen, but I expect the Niners to blow this team out. I mean, Stidham is, he doesn't have a ton of experience. He's familiar with the offense because he was with McDaniels in New England. So, that part he'll have down. He'll know the offense. He'll be ready to play. But, sometimes, though, you do see rookies or, backup quarterbacks come in and it does provide a spark for the offense a little bit.
Yeah.
But Stidham is not really my worry. If anything, it's going to be the running back over there who's having, I think he has 1,908 total all-purpose yards, Jacobs. He's the number. I think he has the most rushing yards in the NFL as well, with like 1,500 something. So him and Devontae Adams, Devontae Adams has 1,200 plus yards as well. So both those guys are really top notch offensively. But again, this defense is elite. I think they're gonna, give Stidham a hard time. So I expect the Niners to blow these guys out.
Yeah, I think they're going to give everybody a hard time. Number one defense, and especially that. I feel like Josh, what's his name? Josh Jacobs. I wanted to say Josh Johnson, but I feel like he's really demoralized at this point. I see his locker room interviews, and he's tired of losing in this fashion when all the work that they're putting in is basically what he's saying. And so he might be demoralized coming into this game, and you're going against the number one run defense in the league. So that doesn't bode well for the Raiders. It doesn't bode well for anybody, really. But Stidham is actually the next topic, and his stats are pretty terrible. We're talking about it backstage. I can go over them, but the stats are terrible. I started watching some of his highlights just to see some of the positivity and potential that he does have to kind of offset the stats, because you got a situation like Geno Smith where he was a journeyman for so long, and then he has a pretty decent season with the Seahawks, who aren't the greatest team. So when these guys have a chance to develop, maybe they can be a little better and have another shot in the league. So I was just kind of looking out for that. I did see some things that were kind of Marcus Mariota-esque, and the reason I say that is because I feel like Marcus Mariota had success. He beat the Niners first and foremost, but he had success. He wasn't asked to do too much, but when he had his opportunities, he took them. We know that mobile quarterbacks give the 49ers problems, and Stidham, even with his running, he's very accurate throwing on the run, it seems like. So he could give the Niners defense a little bit of problems. Do you have any more thoughts on Stidham at all?
No, it's just the unknown, right? It's just like, he
Yeah.
doesn't have a ton of experience. And so that we don't have a lot of tape on him. That could be good. It could be bad. He could come out here and just be awful, but he could surprise a lot of people too. So I
Yeah.
think the unknown is the factor here that, you're just kind of curious about what he's going to be able to do. And again, like sometimes these backups can come in and provide a spark to the offense and just a little bit different. But I'm pretty confident the Niners going to be able to handle it either way.
Hell yeah. I agree, man. Guys, let me say one more time. If you guys have any specific comments or questions for us, um, typically we do 4 flames in the comment/question. That way it helps me sort through the comments so I know what's specifically for us and not the back and forth between you guys. It will just help us get to you. So let's do that if you guys could please. I'm gonna try my best in the meantime to get them sorted through. Let me check my so we got the feelings on defense, Carr with the Raiders. Do you have any thoughts? Because I know the last time we heard on the fan ratio
Mm-hmm.
for the stadium that it's looking like the 49ers are going to be taking over at least 60% of the stadium. I
Yeah.
think it's going to be more, man. I think Raider fans are demoralized. They're going to be like, why the hell am I going to go buy tickets to this losing team? They're going
Watch
to
the ass
compete.
kicked. Yeah.
Yeah, they're competing against this Super Bowl contender, an alleged Super Bowl contender, which we'll talk about a little bit later too. But yeah, and Niners fans are rowdy. They're ramped up. We're on a hot winning streak, and just 49er fans travel really probably better than any other team overall. So I think it's going to be more than 60%. Do you have any thoughts or predictions on that?
I mean, no, yeah, I just saw the same number you did, 60%, but yeah, again, they said that I think in the LA Rams game, it was supposed to be about that same, and it didn't look like it. So, like you said, man, Niner fans travel well. Raiders fans probably not too super excited to come see them get their ass whooped by the Niners. I wouldn't surprise me if it was more. And I think 40, but there is the thing, 49ers and Raider fans love. It's a battle, goes back a long time.
Yeah.
Battle of the Bay, even though it's in Vegas now. So, 60%, I would say, is the minimum, for the Niners.
Yeah, that's a great point, man. There's still a lot of passion there. I know
Mhm.
that's one thing that drove me into my 49ers fandom a lot more is not being able to stand Raiders. Oh man.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can completely agree with that. But Brian Culp says, looking forward to Mitch Wishnowsky going for the fake punt. Do you want to give thoughts on that or you want me to go first?
Go ahead, man. No,
All
shout out
right.
to Bryant, though.
Yeah, hell yeah, man. Love Brian. Really, I'm looking forward to it too. I don't think it's going to happen in this game, but I definitely think they should save something like that for the playoffs. Catch whatever team, especially like in the NFC Championship, if we get there, catch somebody off guard. Don't give any inclination in the regular season with teams that we're already in the playoffs. Our spot is cemented. Now the seeding, we can still move higher in the seeding, but as far as getting into the playoffs, we already did it. So I would just save those nice plays for the playoffs. But yeah, Brian, I agree. That'd be cool to see the 49ers try some cool special teams trick plays.
Yeah, definitely. I would say these next couple of games, just keep guys healthy, keep it vanilla, do what you need to do to win, but nothing more. Because even if we lost to Arizona, the Raiders were already in the playoffs. I don't think we will lose to either team. I'm sure we're going to win, but you also don't want to, like you said, keep all that good stuff for the postseason.
The tricks in the bag.
Yeah.
We got 49ers first takes, Mr. Aaron. Thanks for being here as well. He says, what's up, Niner Gang Wolfcast and Ryan? Cool to see you both together, two of my new faves. Hey, hell yeah, man. I appreciate it. And likewise, we had a great show with Aaron last night on 49ers first takes. Everybody go check that out afterwards. I had a great time, man. It was badass. And we're going to make it a weekly thing on Fridays.
Dope. Yeah, I
Yeah,
like
man.
he's a
What was
good
that?
guy. I like Aaron. He's a good guy. I'm looking forward to connecting with him at some point.
Yeah, man, you'll have a good time. You should join us actually, because well, I know you have like your later schedule in the day is a little booked, so you typically do the morning shows. But
Yeah.
he's doing this. He wants to get a special guest on every Friday. So if you ever want to join on a late night Friday, like I think it was 7 o'clock.
Yeah,
So
I'd be down, man. I just like you said, I chose mornings because that's really the only time I'm free. I got a business I run, and my kids are all playing basketball, so it's pretty hectic. Otherwise, I probably would have been on already with him. But looking
Yeah,
forward to figure something out.
I feel you, man.
Mhm.
That was actually you kind of delved into the next topic was the number one seed push. Should the 49ers already, in my opinion, they should have had it. We should have had it on lock already.
Yeah.
The teams that we lost to this season, we had no business losing to outside of the Chiefs. It
Right.
was ridiculous. I do take some understanding in the fact that okay, Trey Lance gets hurt immediately to start the season. This coaching staff is a new coaching staff that hasn't coached an offense through Jimmy Garoppolo before. So I understood there was probably going to be some hiccups there. Um, they started progressing with it a little better. Then Bobby Turner comes in and things really start catching on. So that was great. Then I was telling everybody, hey, man, we're going to have the bye week. Hopefully, the coaches take that opportunity to get acclimated with the whole offense and the whole coaching staff. Take the good things and the bad things and throw out the bad, keep the good, and add more good. Figure things out with Garoppolo. And yeah, man, I think with the number one seed push, I really want the number one seed if we could get it. The good thing is the Eagles are going to play before us at 10 a.m. California time, so we're going to get to know whether we still have a chance at the number one seed. I still feel really good at the number three, but do you have any thoughts on how hard the 49ers? You already kind of talked about it a little bit, but do you want to go any deeper on that?
Well, they're gonna. What would have to happen? Explain that to me. They're gonna have to win both games. Obviously, the Niners, and then
Yeah.
the Eagles will have to lose one more or two more.
So the Eagles have to lose out completely,
Oh yeah, that's
and
gonna be tough, man.
I'm forgetting. I know they play the Saints tomorrow. I
Mhm.
forget who they play at the end of the season, the last game.
And Jalen Hurts is still out, right?
Yeah, he's doubtful. He's not. He hasn't been rolled out yet, but he's doubtful. So
Yeah,
that's good. But the Saints, man, they held us to 13 points. So they're no joke on defense. And they had flashes on offense as well. So they can do some things. So we're rooting for the Saints, man, and we'll just see what happens. The good thing
yeah,
is we'll find out before the Niners Raiders game. So at,
yeah.
at least we get that.
Definitely
Um,
possible, man. I mean, I'd be happy with the 2 seed, 1 seed, three seeds on lock. I would assume Niners are definitely going to win out. They're going to win all the rest of the game. So I think it. We just got to hope that these other teams fall off a little bit here.
yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think the 49ers could win these next two games, even with the second string offense and defense. But do you have any thoughts on like how aggressive the 49ers should be with playing the starters and stuff like that in these next two games? If you were the coach, how do you think you would handle it?
I think the way I look at it and the way Kyle Shanahan looks at it is a little different.
Yeah.
Based on what Kyle Shanahan has been saying in the press conferences lately, he's not going to really let off the gas too much at all, and until the game is in hand, and he's going to go after Arizona the same way. And then if the game's in hand towards the end of the game, I could see him backing off a little bit with the starters. But Kyle Shanahan is going to be aggressive with it. One of my complaints about Kyle Shanahan, and I think he's a really good coach. I give him I grade him as a B+ coach right now. If he can, win a Super Bowl or just build a high scoring offense, which they have been the last few weeks, to be honest. So that's been good to see. Then I can move him up to an A. But one of the criticisms I have for him is the risk versus reward. Sometimes it doesn't feel like that's a consideration for him at all. And I think he admittedly
Yeah.
has said he doesn't consider anything like that. I think there's more opportunities to be a little bit more wise with play calling.
Mhm.
Stuff I disagree with would be like using Trey Lance the way he uses Trey Lance, or running Debo the way he runs him late in the game, or you got all these running backs. You need to protect certain guys, or just like Christian McCaffrey, for
Yeah.
example. Christian McCaffrey so many touches when Jordan Mason is sitting there, and he's done a great job. So just little things like that would be the critiques I have of Kyle Shanahan. Overall, he's doing a good job, but I fully expect him to go after it hard, at least in the first half of both of these games, probably first 3 quarters. And then if it's in hand, he'll back off a little bit.
I agree, man. If we can rest the starters, I think we should. I guess Bosa has touched on it. I know Kittle has talked about it before with these longer seasons that they're having now. Like it was already tough before. I think the Players Association should try and get something to where they can get another bye week in the season. Especially, I know the NFL is going to try and push for an 18 game season in the future. So you definitely got to have 2 bye weeks, I think.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think maybe treat next week like a preseason game. If we win this one, treat next week like a preseason. Maybe play the starters like 1 quarter, or just let them rest.
Yeah,
Especially,
I don't think Kyle's going to do that, but I think that, it might be the smart thing to do. But
yeah,
he fully believes in just keeping things as is to not disturb anything. So, but the thing is about Nick Bosa, man, I feel like if you lose Nick Bosa, this is a completely different defense. Like
yeah,
we were talking about earlier with the defensive backs. Nick Bosa is one of the main reasons these defensive backs are looking so great, in my opinion. So he's got to be really careful. Like guys like Nick Bosa, man, if they get hurt, knock on wood, it's a whole different ball game. And then on the offensive side, people like CMC, you cannot lose CMC, can't lose
yeah.
George Kittle. Those guys are super important. So hopefully he's smart about it, but it doesn't seem like he's going to be unless the game's just completely in hand. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, man, you're completely right. I don't understand why, like in 2019 we had that awesome running back rotation. I
Yeah.
don't know why we went away from that.
Hmm.
Now he has his first half opener and his second half closer. I don't know what made him go that route.
Yeah.
It's cool to see JP Mason closing out games in the fashion, or even Elijah Mitchell in the fashion that he does. But I would like to see more rotation, keep CMC fresh, and yeah, hopefully Debo too. We'll talk about that too. But Brian Culp says, if the Niners win the Super Bowl, do you think Robbie Gold retires? This is something I've been thinking about, contemplating whether the 49ers are going to go draft somebody, or if they're going to look for another kicker free agent around the league. Do you think Robbie Gold retires? Because I think he does.
If they win a Super Bowl, I can see it. If I'm in the late stage of my career, I'm going out on top after a Super Bowl win.
Yeah.
I think Tom Brady probably should have done the same thing when he won the Super Bowl a couple years ago. So, that's the way I would look at it. I'd love to go out on top. I think a lot of athletes, they just get addicted to the game and they don't want to walk away. And
Yeah.
I'm sure it's tough for them, but, I definitely respect athletes that go out on top.
Yeah, 100%, man. So that's going to be something to look for in the offseason, man. I want to keep him. He's still doing pretty good, but he's getting up there in age, so I think it's time.
Yeah.
Scott Hill, thanks for being here as well. Says we will rotate players a lot this game, keeping our players fresh. I'm assuming he was meaning to say, but yeah, I hope so. I hope that's the take. We kind of just talked on that right now. He
Yeah.
also says, what is your take on Coach Greasy? Talked about this last night. Do you want to go first?
Sure. Yeah. No, I think, based on the improved play of Jimmy Garoppolo and the way Purdy's come out ready to perform, I think you do have to give him some credit there. Obviously, I think, who knows what goes on behind the scenes and who's really responsible for what, but definitely my impression of him just as a person, without knowing what goes on as a coach, he's a lot better than Scangarillo. I didn't like him just even as a person, and obviously, you see the improvement of Jimmy Garoppolo. I think he deserves some credit for that as well. So yeah, I'm big on Coach Greasy.
Hell yeah. Yeah, man, I think we don't know for sure the impact that he's having, but I think the visual, like what we're seeing from the quarterbacks, from all three of them, I think Trey Lance was given the short end of the stick with having to go against the number one defense in the offseason. I think that kind of made Shanahan jump the gun a little bit and play too conservative and not let Trey Lance operate the offense the way I think he actually can against other defenses.
Yeah.
But other than that, both of these other two quarterbacks, Garoppolo's been having his best season. How much of that is him being in a contract year, but how much of that is the influence from Brian Greasy. And then Brock Purdy is Mr. Irrelevant, that rookie picked very last in the draft, and he's balling out, man. So I think Greasy's like the silent killer in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
He's doing
think
a good job.
yeah, man. Because when Scangarello was here, I feel like we never saw any improvement. We saw, maybe if anything, we saw decline. So
Yeah, and some of the drills he was doing with these guys at practice, they just didn't really translate to game type situations. Like he
it
had them
was,
like pounding their feet for like 20 seconds. Like that's never going to happen in the game. And it seems like Greasy's doing a better job of real life scenarios when he's teaching these guys how to play quarterback.
yeah. It was like that same drill every time the pocket presence one, the
Yeah,
footwork.
yeah,
Every time you saw the quarterbacks doing something, it was that same drill, man. And it seems like Greasy, when you see videos of him in practice, what he has the quarterbacks going through, it's adaptive to the game that either they just had, where they weren't doing something as good as they should have been, or just something that was preparing them for the very next game that they saw they could take an opportunity at. But Brian Colt, thanks for this comment right here. He says Eagles have to lose out, Vikings have to lose one. I didn't know the Vikings had to lose one. I just knew the Eagles have to lose out and the Niners have to win out. I didn't know the Vikings had a chance.
yeah.
That's the first time I'm hearing of this. But yeah, because actually, let me see, Guayaba right here, he talks about it. He says, I don't see the 49ers making that hard of a push for the first seed. I think they just want to get through with the least amount of injuries. I mean, I'm sure they would love that, but they don't always take the smartest route to get to there with the least injuries. But I mean, I'm still happy with the third seed if we get that. We still get the home games. If the Eagles lose, we can still get home games. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. But
Yeah, I think all of us fans feel the same way you do, Gayaba. I just don't know if Kyle Shanahan does. Based on everything he says and some things he's done in the past, he doesn't really believe on letting off the gas. He thinks it kind of ruins the momentum. So
yeah,
I would kind of do it
true.
that way, but Kyle Shanahan doesn't seem to believe that.
Yeah, he doesn't realize that people get tired. They get beat up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But Brian Culp says, do the Packers make the seventh seed? This is a great one because this is something we just talked about because they're going to play the Vikings. And I think the Packers are hot right now. They are, I think they have a really good chance to beat the Vikings tomorrow. Of course, we hope they do. What do you think, Brian? Do you think they make the seventh seed?
I don't know. It's kind of hard to rule out Aaron Rodgers. It hasn't been the best season. They've done better as of recent. Christian Watson's doing great. So I mean, it's possible, but overall, the season hasn't been the best for them. Aaron Rodgers' attitude's kind of been a little toxic. It seems like, in
Yeah,
my
yeah,
opinion.
yeah.
So I don't know. We'll have to see. I don't know. It just hasn't. They haven't really shown me much this year overall. And so we're gonna have to see how it plays out. I don't know if they're going to or not. I would say no because they have to win their next two games, and I just don't see it happening. But again, seems like almost guys like Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, they almost do things like they're in the NBA where they kind of coast through the season, do the minimum to get to playoffs, and then that's when they turn it up. So it wouldn't
Catch
surprise me
on.
if they did.
And it's a division game, man. So I think if
Yeah.
they win this one, they get in the playoffs as a wild card. So
Oh, really?
I think their chances are really really good. They might have to win out. I'm not sure, but I think if they win this one, they're in. Um, and yeah, they're catching on, like you said about Rodgers. And when you see the 49ers catching on the way they do with momentum later on in the season, then you can't rule out Aaron Rodgers, especially since he's had more time to get that chemistry built with guys like Christian Watson. So we'll see, man. I think they're going to have a shootout division game, like I said. But I like Will
Yes.
Kennedy's comment. He says, fuck it, let's win now, right now. I love that. That's the right attitude. But Kittle, um, he's been having some breakout games recently. I've been seeing it all season. The potential that it was there. I still think he's George Kittle of old, but a lot of people were doubting him. Can I get some of your thoughts on maybe how you felt on him earlier in the season? And then do you think he's poised for another big game? And then does this production that he's had of late, does it surprise you?
It does a little bit. He does look like the same Kittle that we knew from like 2019. He doesn't look like he's fallen off at all based on the last couple games. But
Yeah.
if you look at his previous games of the season and even last season, he wasn't looking like himself. And so I didn't know if it was George Kittle fell off. And I didn't know that he still had this in him. But based on the last two games, it looks like he's the same old George Kittle, which is great to see. And, he definitely could have another great game like he's been having. It's interesting that his best buddy, Jimmy Garoppolo, wasn't able to do this for him, but Brock Purdy was able to get it done. So I think it's a good relationship. They tend to say that rookie quarterbacks, their best friend is a tight end. So that probably has a lot
Yeah.
to do with it as well. But yeah, he's doing great, and which is great to see, headed into the playoffs, and hopefully it continues for him. It's good to see that he hasn't fallen off.
Yeah, exactly. You're right with the rookie quarterback thing. It seemed like Kittle had his best numbers under Beathard, under Nick Mullins. It was never under Jimmy Garoppolo, really. And I feel like because we're having a little bit of a debate about, I never understood why Kelsey's in the same conversation as Kittle, because I feel like everything around Kelsey is perfect. If Kittle had that, if he had that quarterback, a coach like that, I mean, he has a coach like that, but if he had a quarterback like that, I don't think Kelsey really does anything miraculous. I think anything Kelsey can do, Kittle can do better, and he can do more, in my opinion. But one of the things that was brought up was Kittle's health when we were talking about that, and I understand it. He's Aaron was the guy that brought that up, and he's right about it. But I feel like when Garoppolo is a quarterback, whenever he's passing to Kittle, it's always a check down. It's not deep passes. It's not in space. So you got three guys crashing into Kittle all at the same time. He's getting sandwiched and piled on a check down. Versus when Purdy's passing to him, it's because Purdy's gone through his progressions and Kittle's had time to get open, and he's in space and scoring touchdowns instead of little check downs.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I think that's the case for most of the offense under Jimmy. That was my biggest complaint in regards to Jimmy. He's just so dink and dunk, boring, methodical, work your way down the field. And that's what I do like about Brock Purdy is he's able to connect. He's able to see the wide open receivers where Jimmy, he would just miss so many guys that were wide open, not even on the throw, just on the look. He wouldn't even see them
Yeah,
wide open.
exactly.
And if he did, a lot of times he wouldn't pull the trigger. Now this year he was a little bit more aggressive with it than he was in previous seasons, which was good to see, but he was just not connecting and he was still missing wide open guys. I think Kyle talked about how Brock looks downfield really well. That's one of his strengths.
On his own too.
Yeah, yeah. So I think it's good to see from Brock Purdy. We're scoring a lot quicker now with Brock than we were with Jimmy, which is definitely going to be necessary in the postseason to hang with these top-notch quarterbacks.
Yeah, we're scoring a lot more with Purdy, and how much of it with Garoppolo is Kyle Shanahan forcing him to take the shots too? Like, hey man, just take this shot, throw the deep pass. And Purdy seems to do it on his own. He doesn't have to be told. It's just part of his progression as a quarterback. But I'm going to pick on you a little bit in good fun because we had a comment. I saw a comment. It says, someone says Hensley was praying for Purdy to choke in the playoffs. Is that true? What are your thoughts and feelings on it? I liked your reply that you had to it.
Yeah, it was. You must have saw a Grant show when somebody jumped on there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what this is Jimmy stands that are trolls that I've blocked on Twitter. They like to go on and comment on people's channels. They do it on Grant's show. They come on my show. They just say all kinds of crazy shit. Excuse my language, but anybody that knows me has followed me for a long time. If you go just look at my tweets, go to my page, hit on my Twitter, go to my profile, search, type in Brock Purdy, see what I've had to say about Brock Purdy, and you'll obviously see that that's just BS.
Yeah, you're a pretty reasonable guy. So I wanted to get your thoughts on it. I thought it was pretty funny, and I liked your reply. You were like, false, LOL.
Yeah, for me, what I want for the 49ers is I don't care if it's Brock Purdy, I don't care if it's Trey Lance. I want them to be a top quarterback in this league. Top 5 would be great. If they're not top 10, top 12, and I'm a believer that it's too early to judge either one of them. I don't think you can judge Trey Lance based on what we've seen so far. It's not enough. I don't think we can fully judge Brock Purdy based on what we've seen. To me, it's still not enough. I want to see, a season's worth, and I don't know how we're going to be able to see a season's worth from both of these guys. But in order for me to make a judgment on a quarterback, I need to see at least a whole season, right? We haven't seen that from either guy. My hope is that one of these guys emerge as a top-notch quarterback. Top 5 would be fantastic. Top 10, top 12, I'd be okay with that. Anything less, I'm going to be ready to move on from both, man. I grew up, I was born in 79. So I'm 43 years old. I'm an old dude. I grew up watching, Joe Montana, Steve Young, you guys like Jeff Garcia. And that's the top-notch quarterbacking that I want to see for my 49ers, and I'm just not willing to settle for another decent quarterback like Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel you on that, man. I forgot what I was gonna say because I drank my coffee and got distracted. But it was something about Purdy. Damn it. But Scott Hill has a question for us. He says, "Do you think we rest Purdy in the?" Oh, you know what? Actually, I remember what I was going to say because I thought it was really really funny when that person made that comment. I was like, "Wait a minute. You think Ryan wants Purdy to choke in the playoffs? Do you realize he's a 49ers fan?"
Right.
So I thought it was funny. That's why I asked you. So just want to get your thoughts on it. But Scott Hill says, "Do you think we rest Purdy in the second half?" It's going to depend, first of all, on whether the Eagles win or lose before the 49er Raider game. And I think, of course, the score. So it just depends on that. And if it were to happen, it's probably going to happen in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I mean, I think it just depends on how the game goes, honestly. Yeah. If it's well in hand, possibly. But I also think Brock Purdy needs as much experience as he can get right now. He's not a seasoned veteran.
Yeah.
So I definitely think he should, he needs as much experience as he can get. So I don't think they're going to pull him out just on the second half off top, regardless of the score. I think the game has to be well in hand before Kyle Shanahan does that.
Exactly. That and I mean, we talked about we want to keep him healthy. And if we have a big enough lead, I want to see reps from Josh Johnson. I want to see what he's got because a lot of people are speculating that Garoppolo's not on IR. So I'm assuming the 49ers are expecting him to come back. I'm sure they've talked to him. So it looks like they haven't made any moves to rule him out for the playoffs. And I would like to see what Josh Johnson has. I would like to get him some reps just in case, knock on wood, anything were to happen to Purdy. It would be between Garoppolo and Josh Johnson. So just to kind of see what he's got. And Will Kennedy right here, you're correct, man. And like we talked about, Ryan said it, that a tight end is a rookie quarterback's best friend. Mm-hmm. Brian Culp says, Ryan, show everyone your BCB t-shirt.
I don't have that, Brian. Sorry, but not wishing for his downfall, but no BCB from me. I just call him Brock Purdy.
There you go. That's a good one. Let me see. Let me see. Okay, this is something I joked about at first when Brock Purdy first came into the game against the Dolphins. I said it jokingly, but as 49er fans, we hold that little bit of hope that it could be true. Is Purdy the second coming of Joe Montana? I think his awareness is really awesome. The way he, not just his pocket presence, how he's able to scramble out and stuff like that. Of course, when he gets out of the pocket, throws the ball away in the fashion that he does, he gets style points for that. And taking sacks when that's the smartest thing to do as well, because taking sacks is sometimes the best option. But what do you think? I know it's kind of BS to compare him to Joe Montana, but he does a lot of Joe Montana-esque things. Do you think he could be the second coming?
So for me, I'm very very cautious of saying things like that. I know a lot of people do it, and it's totally cool, man. Whoever wants to do it, I just don't like doing it, man. Because here's the thing about Brock Purdy, man. Well, let's look at it this way. In 2017, when Jimmy Garoppolo took over as the 49ers quarterback, those last 5 games, we went 5-0. Mm-hmm. How many of us were completely sold that this is our guy? I mean, obviously the 49ers were, right? They gave him $130 million and gave him a 5-year contract. And even I was super excited about, like, oh man, we might actually have our franchise quarterback right now. Come to find out, Jimmy was good. He was decent. He just wasn't great. And I'm very cautious. I just don't want to just sell out like that on Brock Purdy quite yet. So I'm going to give him a year or two at least before I start calling him the next Montana or something like that. And now maybe if he goes out and balls out, wins a Super Bowl, I might jump on a little earlier. But I'm going to hold off on any of those comparisons. Honestly, right now, I can see, like, when people compare games to each other, that makes sense. But Joe Montana, up until maybe 5 years ago was the GOAT. Now probably Tom Brady, and then Joe Montana. Well, that's debatable. I
No.
still like Joe Montana. A lot of people will say Tom Brady's the GOAT. Most people would, maybe, if you're not a
Yeah.
Lions fan.
Yeah.
My favorite 49ers quarterback is honestly Steve Young. That's just it was just fun to watch, man.
Yeah. His style.
Just from an entertainment
Yeah.
standpoint, he was just awesome to watch. But as far as Brock Purdy goes, I'm not going to call him Joe Montana yet, man, because who knows what he's going to look like tomorrow, next week, in the playoffs, next year. I don't want to have myself on video saying he looks like Joe Montana, and then the guy comes out and crap.
No, I guess better what I'm asking is, do you think he has potential to be the second coming?
Again, I think it's just, who knows? Like, the thing about him is it's hard to tell that, really. It's just this team is so elite that it's really hard to tell what you got, right? Like, would Brock Purdy look like Joe Montana if he was on the Cardinals or the freaking Jaguars, right?
Yeah.
He's on the 49ers, and he has the best offensive weapons in the NFL. Kyle Shanahan does an amazing job of scheming things up, making it easy on him. I would suggest, actually, you guys, I'm going to try to find it for you. I retweeted something that Jesse Naylor tweeted out this morning, which is a breakdown by Alex Rollins, NFL. You can go to Alex Rollins, NFL on Twitter. You can just go to my profile or Jesse's profile. He did a complete breakdown on Brock Purdy. And, he pointed out all the good things, but then also pointed out some things that a lot of probably 49er fans aren't really looking at. They're just excited about the momentum. It's a great story. But I don't think he's, he's got a lot of strengths, but he still has some weaknesses. And I think it was a very fair analysis. But I'm not going to say he's great. I'm not going to say he sucks. I just need more time to see what happens with the kid.
Where was that video again? So we can so some people could check that out if they want to.
Yeah, go to my profile. My on Twitter is Ryan G. Hensley. It's just the same thing that you see under my name here, Ryan G. Hensley, at Ryan G. Hensley. I retweeted it. Jesse tweeted it out this morning. It says great breakdown of Purdy by Alex Rollins, NFL here. So he posted a YouTube video. You guys can check it out. It's breaks down. It's like a 10-minute video, complete breakdown of the strengths and weaknesses that he's seeing from Brock Purdy.
Okay, cool. Hell yeah. One of the things, I guess we could get the argument started real quick in the comments. Everybody maybe you want to hear my argument first before you throw down your vote, but let me know who you guys think is the GOAT quarterback of all time in the NFL. For me, it's Joe Montana, no questions asked. For me, Tom Brady is like the Floyd Mayweather of football. And with if you pay attention to Mayweather, he brands himself as TBE, not TGE. I think there's a difference that people confuse in the wording of the best ever, the greatest ever. I think there's a huge difference there, and the GOAT is the greatest of all time. I think if Joe Montana was playing in today's type of the rule system they have in place now, he would have played for a lot longer. He would have blown Tom Brady out of the water. And, even like this is something that if you watch Floyd Mayweather, he admitted too. He's like, I'm not the greatest ever. There's guys before me like Julio Cesar Chavez, the greatest of all time. But yeah, man, I think Tom Brady is TBE. He's TB12. He's really damn good. And I'm not discounting anything that he's doing. I just think they called Joe Montana Joe Cool for a reason. He was, in moments of adversity, he was the greatest. So that's why I rule him as the greatest partially. Let me see. We got Corey Davis in here. And Ryan, if you have any thoughts on that too, go ahead.
I think, because I used to write for Bleach Report in a newspaper in the Bay Area.
Yeah.
And when I was doing that, I did that for about 4 years. When I was doing that, it kind of helped me separate my fandom. Like, I always root for the 49ers. I want the 49ers to win. That's my team. But it allowed me to look at things also from maybe an objective standpoint. And I think a lot of 49er fans obviously think Joe Montana is the best. And I always argued that point until like 4 or 5 years ago. And I'm like, okay, man, this guy's been playing forever. He's got hella Super Bowls. Like, at this point, I'm gonna. If I wasn't a 49, let's put it this way: if we were Cardinals fans or whatever, right, Bears fans, and we had this same discussion, you would probably say it was Tom Brady, right? But I think a lot of people, because they're 49er fans, they think it's Joe Montana, and that's cool, man. There's no harm in that. But I think if you're looking at it from objectively, not as a 49er fan, I don't know. I think a lot of people would probably go Tom Brady.
Yeah, well, like I said, the difference between best and great, and I think like somebody like Mahomes could surpass, depending on how things go for him and how favorable the roster ends up, how long Andy Reid stays, and his coaching. Just with his abilities, he can surpass Tom Brady in being the best ever. But
He might be the best ever to me. To me, Patrick Mahomes is kind of like the Steph Curry of the
yeah,
NFL. Like the things he can do is just remarkable. If I could take any
yeah.
quarterback in the NFL right now, it wouldn't be Tom Brady, it would be Patrick Mahomes.
And I
Whether
hate
you
to
can
say
put it
it.
all, yeah, whether you can put it all together or not, I don't know. But I think he's the most talented. I'll put it that way. Patrick Mahomes is the most talented quarterback that I've seen.
Yeah, little shit ass. I can't stand him. But yeah,
Yeah,
you always wish that Kyle Shanahan would have gone and drafted him. He would have
yeah,
been here. But
amazing.
we
Yeah,
got Corey Davis in here. Want to say what's up to him real quick. I hope everything's going great, bro. He says, hello, Niner Gang Wolfcast, Ryan G. Hensley. I hope you both have a wonderful weekend. Hey, likewise, bro.
thank
And
you, man.
if anybody else is going to the game, let us know too. Any of you guys. Brian Culp says, how many seasons should the league give a player before they make judgment? One game or a couple of seasons?
I mean, when it comes to quarterback, in my opinion, I mean, look at what happened with Justin Fields, right? Uh,
Mhm.
Look at all these quarterbacks. Zach Wilson, look what's happening to him now. You can see he went the other direction. Guys just need time, man, and it's absolutely asinine to me that people are ready to judge Trey Lance after not even
Yeah,
4 games, right? It's like three
yeah,
and three quarters of games. It's just crazy to me. Like, and what's even more remarkable that people don't understand is I compared. So I think Trey Lance has like, what is it, 108, something like that, 102, 108 passes, right?
hmm
I compared the first 108 passes of him with all the other rookies that were drafted in that same year. And he was beating everybody statistically in almost every category
yep,
outside of Trevor Lawrence had like one or two categories he was better at. So
hmm
it's Trevor Lawrence and Trey Lance had better statistics than Mac Jones, than Justin Fields, than whoever else I'm forgetting, right? He looked better than all of those guys based on those brief snaps that he's had. And people are already writing them off. And you saw what happened with Justin Fields. You've seen what happened with guys like Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts. Guys need time. So for
yeah.
me, really, it's like a couple seasons is what you need. And I'm not saying that Trey Lance is going to be the answer. I don't know. I don't know if Brock Purdy is either, but I think both of them, we need more time before we really know what we're working with.
Yeah, I think if the 49ers play it smart and don't give huge contracts to quarterbacks, I think that's totally, I think it's completely overrated in the NFL. You see another team like the Eagles is having success in a very, very same fashion where they almost beat the Cowboys with Gardner Minshew, and really, they had those few turnovers. It's his first game, so maybe they could do a little bit better if with another week of practice or whatever. But yeah, you're right, Trey Lance, especially when you got guys who have more experience like Brock Purdy. What's his name? You just said it. I don't know why I'm forgetting his name right now.
Trey Lance, Brock Purdy,
Trevor Lawrence.
Trevor Lawrence, yeah.
You got guys like that. Timelines are different. Some guys had more experience in college, so they're going to come out quicker off the line. Some guys is going to take a little more time to develop, and we got to be there. And I saw all the attributes in Trey Lance when he was given opportunity to do it. It's there. You
Yeah.
see it. Even just the adjustments from one half to the next, how quick he can turn things around and feel comfortable. Imagine if he had a whole season.
And I still don't think Kyle Shanahan knows how to use Trey Lance to his strengths yet. I think he's still figuring it out because it's very different from Jimmy Garoppolo. It's very different from Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
What his strengths and weaknesses are, and I think he was using them. Me personally, I think he was using them incorrectly. But I think over time, Kyle Shanahan has shown that he'll figure it out. You look at the last 2 seasons; they started off 3-5 last year, 3-4 this year, and Kyle Shanahan learns as he goes. And I think the same thing was going to happen with Trey Lance. And then the other thing to consider with Trey Lance is physically, he has all the talent. Like if you're building a quarterback on Madden or something, right? He's going to have all the traits that Trey Lance has, right? If you have unlimited, you can make him fast, you can make him big, you may have a strong arm, you can make him smart.
Yeah.
Like Trey Lance has all of that. What he doesn't have is experience. So logic would tell you as he gains experience, he's going to improve. So I think it's just we got to give him time.
100%. I think if Shanahan, because he underestimated him, I talked about it earlier. I think he was going against the best defense in the league, and so that made Kyle Shanahan jump the gun and play conservative with him. If he played Trey Lance the way he does with Purdy, I don't think you could go wrong. Maybe Purdy probably does certain things better, like short passes and a little bit better pocket quarterback as of right now. There's no saying that Trey Lance can't do that someday, and it's going to help him develop in that area of his game. Information Man Show, thank you for being here. He says peace and respect to the host, and of course the co-host. Of course, let's not forget the co-host. He's pretty amazing himself too. But I appreciate you. Thank you very much. Got David McNiner in here. He says Joe Montana, Tom Brady has played in an era where the NFL has gone soft. That's definitely part of my reasoning.
Well, think about this though. How long has Tom Brady been playing? When he started off, I mean, it wasn't the 80s, but Tom Brady was getting ripped in the beginning of his career.
He was.
In the 2000s when he was playing, man, it was different than it is now. So he's played a little bit through that. And what's great about Tom Brady is he knows not how to take contact, right? The dude doesn't get sacked. He just gets rid of it hella quick. So that probably would have helped him translate in the older era.
Yeah, that's something that hopefully Trey Lance gets better at too.
Yeah.
He showed flashes of learning how to slide and stuff like that. So that was
Right.
good. With Brock Purdy, what do you think his playoff potential? We talked about it, how somebody was trying to say that you hope he chokes in the playoffs. I know you're talking about his experience.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think his potential is for the playoffs?
Well, I think he's in the best situation you could be in as a quarterback right now. I feel like having that defense, having Kyle Shanahan, having Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, Christian McCaffrey, Elijah Mitchell, you couldn't ask for a better situation. So all he has to do is go out and run the offense, give the playmakers the ball. He doesn't have to go out there and be a hero, right? It's not like he has to go out there and do what Aaron Rodgers has to do in order to win. Yeah. So I think he's in a great situation, and so far he hasn't given me any reason to doubt him. Right? He looks calm. He looks like he's totally in control of the offense out there. So I think he's going to be fine. He has the potential to be the first rookie quarterback to win a Super Bowl. I think he can do it.
Man.
Whether he does or not, we'll see. But I think he has the potential to do it. And again, he doesn't have to be Tom Brady. He doesn't have to be amazing. He could just go out there, find the open guy, run the offense, and I think the 49ers will be okay. I'm more concerned about the defensive backs against top-notch quarterbacks than I am Brock Purdy, to be honest.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me to give me confidence was that he's been consistent. With him in the offense, we're consistently scoring like 35 points a game since he's showed up. That wasn't the case with Garoppolo for sure. We scored even 13 with him. That was pretty ugly, but we won, so that's nice. And I think, like you said, he's in the best situation. I think it played out perfectly for him too, to where he had a full off season as a rookie, getting to dive into the playbook. Already has all that experience coming into the league. He doesn't have the layoff that Trey Lance did, where he had to take a season off because of COVID. He came right in off of his his college career, got it off season. Then he had time throughout the season to develop. Jimmy Garoppolo gets hurt late in the season. By that time, I think Brock Purdy had enough time to develop in the offense, and now he's catching the league by storm. So, yeah, just like that, we haven't seen him really be put in adversity, I think, yet. So that's going to be something where I think Garoppolo does really well under pressure. So hopefully Brock Purdy has that same element to his game, but hopefully the Niners keep blowing teams out and Purdy isn't put in that situation of a close game, have to go win it in a 2-minute offense.
Yeah, I think that's what worries me long term is it's not really Brock Purdy is my concern. If the defense is able, the defense, the DBs are, if they get ate up like they did against the Chiefs. Now I know they were injured, so it's going to be different, hopefully. But like if they face a team, Philly's capable of it. Even Dallas might be capable of it, honestly. And then if they get to the Super Bowl, now you're looking at guys like the Chiefs, the Bengals, and the Bills, who are capable of putting up a ton of points. And I know we have a really good defense, but if for somehow, the DBs don't do their job and they're able to put up a ton of points, now we're depending on Brock Purdy to win the game for us. That's going to be interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, very. Like if we end up in a 24-22 game and Brock Purdy has to go in at the end and lead a drive to win that with at least a field goal or something, can he do it? That's
we'll
then I think we'll have a better idea if we have the right quarterback. But if we keep blowing teams out, that's a very good telltale sign too.
Right, exactly.
Brian Culp says hit the like button. Yeah, everybody, please hit the like button. Don't forget that. Go check out Ryan G. Hensley, my co-host. If you haven't already, go sub to his channel. Please sub here if you haven't already. Let me see if there's again. If you guys have any comments or questions specifically for us, please use the 4 flames. But Ayuk, he's had a drop in production, man. I know Kittle's production has spiked. But Ayuk has dropped at the same time, where it's kind of flip-flopped, where Ayuk was a very utilized piece of the offense when Garoppolo was the quarterback, as opposed to last year. Now it's kind of flip-flopped. What do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think it's just, like we were talking about earlier, that a tight end is a rookie quarterback's best friend. Yeah. And so those routes are probably easier passes most of the time than what Ayuk is running. I also noticed in the beginning he was really favoring Debo in targets versus Ayuk. So I think it's smarter at this point in the season. We've seen that Debo is the one that struggles the most with drops. So the team would probably benefit more by targeting Ayuk in the passing game than they would Debo. So it'll be interesting to see what happens when they come back. But you can't go wrong with Kittle. So it doesn't bother me that they're targeting Kittle. Kittle and Ayuk are very sure-handed, great targets. As much as I love Debo, I think he's one of the top weapons in the NFL. From a straight route running and catching perspective, he's not the best, at least this year. So I hopefully Ayuk continues to get his targets. The guy's open often,
Yeah, he is. Very correct, man. I don't think I could have said it better myself. Because if I start talking about it, I'm going to segue into this, so I guess I might as well pull it up. How do you feel about Debo return? Do you think it should be sooner or later? I know he can't play tomorrow. He's already been ruled out, which I think was very smart. I love that move. I don't think he should play until the playoffs. I think that's where you make your money and show your worth. We already have that playoff spot locked in. So Debo, come back fresh in the playoffs and make a name for yourself again for this season.
Yeah, I think I'm glad, the way he was practicing this week, you kind of like, oh man, is he really going to try to bring him back this week? Because he did practice a little bit this week. I was hoping he wasn't going to, and I'm glad that he's not. Maybe in Arizona they, sprinkle him in here and there just to get him, back in the flow of things. But overall, I hope, not a lot. We got to keep Debo healthy. Again, he's a very special weapon. Debo is definitely somebody we want to be able to depend on in the playoffs.
Yeah.
That being said, I think the one we have to preserve the most is going to be Christian McCaffrey on offense, and on defense, Nick Bosa. We can't lose those two guys. As long as we have those two guys, I think we'll be okay. And obviously Brock Purdy, I don't know. I haven't seen, Josh Johnson's been in the league for a long time. So, I'm sure he has a ton of experience, but I got to see more from Josh Johnson before I feel good about him. It's crazy to think that, knock on wood, hopefully nothing happens to Brock Purdy, but it's possible we see Josh Johnson win a Super Bowl this year too, which would be nuts,
Oh my God, a Geno Smith situation.
Right.
For real. Yeah, man, I think we're both kind of agreeing on that. And Debo, make your money in the playoffs, like we're saying. That's where he's going to be a difference maker. That's where we need him. We need him to stay healthy for the playoffs. And I think, kind of going back to the Ayuk thing, how I said it was going to segue into this. I think even with Debo, he's been underutilized when it comes to like the 50-50 passes. That was something like where Debo, you couldn't go wrong with Debo last year. They were throwing 50-50 passes to him throughout even the regular season, and he had a knack for the ball. He would still go up and get it, stick his foot in the ground, high point it, or even just high point it and let the DB run right past him. And yeah, I think once he comes back, they should try him again on that, man. Because every time they tried him, he had a lot of success with it. I think he struggles more on the quick passes, like the quick slants when it comes to catching it.
Mm.
He can take it to the house when he does catch it, but I think he has a little more time. Like basically catching pop flies is a little easier for him.
Yeah, that makes sense. He does. I think he had before he got injured. I think he was leading the NFL in drops. So for whatever reason, man, his hands are not uh, what you would want. And same thing last year. There was a point last year where he was leading the NFL in drops. So maybe
Mhm.
it is those short, quick passes that he struggles with. But if they are going to high point somebody, I would prefer it to be like George or Brandon Ayuk. Man, I really think Ayuk could be a top 10 receiver in this league if he was in maybe a different offense with a different quarterback. Brandon Ayuk is top notch in my opinion. So, but I like Debo as a weapon more though, not really a hands guy in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Of course, but I think, he showed last year he can do it consistently. Every time they tried him on that, it was successful for really deep passes. Those were Garoppolo's deepest passes were to Debo all the
Mhm.
time. You remember the one where Kyle Shanahan on the sideline was telling him, "This is easy shit. Can you do this?" right before the half, and
Yeah.
that's when you saw that deep pass to Debo down the middle of the field. Right before the half to go and score some points and get the game back on track against the Bears. But I know you're talking about like other guys we should go to. I think Juwan Jennings is a guy like he's got the stature for it. He's bigger than most DBs by a pretty good margin. So I don't understand why they don't try him on like some what do you call it? Some fades to the corner of the end zone, stuff like that.
They only
It
try him
would
on
make a
third
lot of
down as
sense.
a possession receiver. It seems like only.
Yeah,
Yeah, it'd be nice to see Jawan get some looks prior to third down sometimes.
yeah, yeah, straight up. Avatar Singh, thanks for being here. He says, I wish all the Niner fans a happy new year. Let's finish the regular season with the winning streak intact, no injuries. Hopefully, man. Hopefully that's the case. Um, so another topic we have here real quick. Um, how are you looking on time, Ryan?
Oh, we're good, man.
Yeah.
Saturday, I'm
Okay.
chilling.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're almost done. So we'll probably do the last two topics and then check into some comments and close out if that's cool with you.
yeah.
All right, cool. Avatar Singh says, I wish all the Niner fans a happy. Oh, I already read that one. But the next topic is Pro Football Talk ranks the 49ers number one in power rankings now after last week. Do you think the 49ers are Super Bowl bound, or do you think it's too early to tell?
Yeah, my prediction before the season was that they're going to go to the Super Bowl. I thought Trey Lance was going to be the quarterback,
Yeah.
so it's a little different.
Yeah.
I still think they can do it. I still think they have the best team overall in the NFL. I thought that before the season. I still think the same way now. I think Brock Purdy's doing a good job. I think getting to the Super Bowl is very doable. Winning it, I don't know. It's going to be tough. Like again, if the defense has been fantastic because of the pass rush, but the DBs do concern me. Not Charvarius Ward, but the other defensive backs. If the quarterback has time, hanging in coverage has been a problem. There has been opportunities for other teams that have not been able to capitalize on it. But I
Yeah.
think guys like Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Burrows, who's the best deep threat quarterback in the NFL right now, those type of guys could capitalize on it. So that's my only concern.
Hmm.
But I think they're definitely headed to the Super Bowl, and hopefully they'll win it because Kyle Shanahan's got to get that monkey off his back, going to the big dance, and not leaving with a date.
Yeah, I agree. Same thing with the defense, that type of stuff. If we were in the AFC, I don't know how good I would feel about our chances.
Yeah.
But since we're in the NFC and I don't really see anybody that um, can dominate the 49ers, I can see maybe somebody beating us in a close game, maybe like the Eagles with Jalen Hurts. Hopefully that's not the case. But I
Mhm.
definitely think I feel pretty good about the 49ers being Super Bowl bound. I don't think it's too early. Of course, hopefully everybody's going to stay healthy. So that's probably the big question mark. And then I guess, last, and let me know what you guys think too. Do you guys think the 49ers are headed to the Super Bowl, or is it too early to start talking about that? But what's your prediction for the 49ers and Raiders game? Do you think the 49ers are going to dominate, or
49ers are going to lose? No, I'm kidding. 49ers are going to win 31-10 is my prediction.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, I think that's generous. A touchdown. You're giving the Raiders a touchdown. That's
Yeah, one
generous.
touchdown and 3 points. Yep. So
See, he's not a mean guy. Are they going to dominate or underestimate? Was a better question, I should say. But yeah, hopefully they don't underestimate. I give the 49ers a 49-3 victory.
Wow.
I think, yeah, 49-3.
Wow.
Raiders are ranked 24th. I know that's kind of it sounds like a homer one, but I'm just gonna aim high. Screw it.
Why not?
I've been pretty close to a lot of predictions that I've made, and I've done some more conservative than others, but I think now's the time to blow a team out like that. And even though the Niners have been doing it, I think 49-3. I think the potential is really high, especially against a defense that ranks 24th. Our offense now ranks 9th in the NFL.
Yeah.
So I feel pretty damn good about it, man. You guys let me know everybody's score predictions. I think Brian Culp was 28-3.
Yeah, I said 31-10. I also said I think this is going to be Brock Purdy's best game. 3 touchdowns, 300+ yards.
Yeah, actually, you know what? Going back to something you said that I remembered I was going to talk about was CMC and his health. Because that is a guy. He's a game changer, man. He's a weapon that kind of changes the 49ers as an offense and adds just that more versatility, another dynamic. And I feel like when Garoppolo was the quarterback, he was so check down reliant that it didn't bode well for CMC's health. So I think that's another positive we can take from Brock Purdy being the quarterback now, is he's not so heavily reliant. He's more of a true quarterback that's going to look at all areas of the field.
I think with CMC what I wish Kyle Shanahan would do, I'd love to see CMC and Mason or Mitchell when he comes back in the backfield at the same time together. And if you're going to go through between the tackles, I would love to see either Mason or Mitchell do it. I think they're better at it, and it's a little bit more risky for CMC, who I don't think that's not really his strength, running between the tackles. And you look at his yards per carry, it's that if you look specifically between the tackles, yards per carry, that's not CMC's strength. So let's not use them there. Let's use the guys like Mitchell and Mason. Yeah. And, I don't want anybody to get hurt, but, I don't want to lose CMC. If we lose Mason, that sucks, obviously. But if we lose CMC, that's a problem. You know what I mean?
And not only that, yeah, exactly. Not only that, it's like he's the opener. He plays the whole first half. They use him for anything and everything. Mm-hmm. It's like, dude, rotate some guys. I know they rotated last week, but that they only rotate when he's like got a bum knee or something, when he gets a dead leg or something like that. It's like, come on, man.
Yeah, I mean, Mason to me has been running fantastic. And so not only is he running really well, which is right, that's what you want. Yeah. You can use him like a bell cow and preserve CMC's health, keep Debo out of there, right? We don't need Debo running. We don't need Debo running right now. Like, honestly, like, save that for the playoffs when it matters. Use Mason, see what you got from Mason. And so far, what we've seen from Mason is he's doing phenomenal. So let's keep it going.
Yeah, 100%. Real quick, guys, we're going to close out the show pretty soon. But if you guys have any questions or comments for Ryan, throw it in the chat section before we close out with 4 flames in there. You can do it for Ryan or for me or for both of us, however you guys want to do it. But please try and get that in as soon as possible so we can close this out and get ready for the game tomorrow. We only have one more sleep left before the game.
Yeah.
We still got a day ahead of us, though. But
right.
Yeah, Brian Culp says, put Debo in against the Cardinals snap count.
Yeah, if you're going to play him, make sure he's on a snap count. I just sprinkle him in here and there, but, or just don't play him at all. But I think he's going to play next week, probably just to get acclimated. Kyle Shanahan seems to be big on that. He, wants guys to have that momentum. He doesn't want to just pop them in the playoffs. So I think Debo is going to play next week, but hopefully it's minimal.
See, I agree with you and Brian as well, because Brian feels that same way as Kyle Shanahan with he feels, players should get in before sooner more than later. I disagree with it on this one because with Debo, it's ligament damage.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like if that goes, you're screwed. If it was a muscle tear, that's way more understandable. But ligament is super risky. So I would just wait completely till the playoffs. And then that's just another dynamic you add to the playoffs to catch other teams off guard. So yeah, I would wait. But
Yeah.
everybody has their own perspectives on it. So that's the great thing about it. So we can all pick each other's brain. Avatar Singh says, only team I fear in Super Bowl is KC. Yeah, but I would love to get revenge. But I do fear it.
What's funny though is it's not being talked about a lot, but the 49ers are the hottest team in the NFL. The second hottest team in the NFL is the Cincinnati Bengals. And Burrow has the best deep ball in the NFL right now. So don't underestimate the Bengals, man. They were there last year. They can be back again this year.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, they did it last year.
Yeah.
It could be a very similar scenario.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man, I do think if we were to face the Chiefs in the Super Bowl this year, I think since we've played them earlier in the season and really in a past Super Bowl as well, I think the 49ers would be better prepared, not just from CMC being better acclimated into the offense. The defense has gotten better since losing Mosley.
Healthier. They're a lot healthier now. Yeah.
That too. And I think that's part of what, D'Amico Ryans, I kind of bash being so conservative on defense, but at least it bodes well for the health of the defense, I think, because you're getting defenders in space and they don't have to do too much running and cutting around. They're more sitting and waiting for a pick.
Right. Exactly.
Or a tackle. Yeah. Let's see if we got a few more comments. Brian asks if is Mitchell playing? I don't think so. Do you know anything on that, Ryan? Have you heard anything?
They're going to open his practice window next week, is what they said. So he's definitely not playing this week.
You're right. He had a bug that Kyle Shanahan said was going around. Now that you remind me, so they were going to open his practice window this week. They said they're going to wait till next week, and that's going to be basically a for sure thing once he gets over his little sickness that's been going around. Mm-hmm. Lauren Lee, thanks for being here as well. It says big day tomorrow. Brian Culp says, Wolf, Ryan, when are you doing a show together? Great team.
Yeah, I've been. I mean, we're doing one now. Oh, again, I see the comment below. It says again. But yeah, no, I said we're doing one now, right?
Yeah, we're doing it.
Yeah, no, I've been inviting Wolf. He's been busy traveling with the holidays, but I hope to have him on, this coming week if he's available.
Yeah. I need to sort my things around and get stuff situated. I'm getting back to work and everything like that since I got back from California. So as soon as I'm able to, me and Ryan are gonna collaborate on his channel. And I appreciate you again, man, for coming over here. Ryan, I asked him if he wanted to do the show on his channel or mine. He opted for my channel, so I really appreciate it, man, because I've been doing other shows on other channels this week. I haven't gotten to do my content as much, so it helps out. It's great to have stuff on my channel. But thanks, Brian. I appreciate that as well from Brian Culp. Ryan, when are you doing a call-in show again?
Oh, that's a good question, man. I haven't done one in a while. That's right. I think I've only done one. Maybe we'll do one next Friday or this coming Friday.
There you go. Or do a pregame call-in show. Yeah. Celts Chronicles in the house. What's up, bro? Hope you're doing good today. Says yee. All right. Yeah. If you have any closing thoughts, Ryan, I think we're gonna close out the show.
Yeah, man. No, just everyone have a good New Year. Enjoy the game. That's it, man. I appreciate all of you guys. Thanks for anyone that subscribed to my channel. Thank you. I appreciate it. And yeah, just enjoy the game. Have a good New Year. Be safe. All that good stuff.
Oh yeah, today's New Year's Eve, guys. Everybody enjoy it. Be safe. Ryan, thanks again, man. I really appreciate it. Yeah, Niners, we have to win today. If there's one rivalry that I can't stand losing to is against the Raiders. Yeah. That and the Cowboys, of course. So let's get this dub. Everybody be safe. You guys, anybody who hasn't yet, go to Ryan G. Hensley's show, subscribe him. We got to get him to 2K before midnight,
We got
before the new
47.
year.
I mean, 47 more. So
47 more subscribers, man.
Yep.
And look for me on his show as well. We've been collaborating. So yeah, Ryan, take care, bro. Be safe. Everybody take care. Thanks for being here.
Thank
Like
you.
and subscribe.